Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. There are reports that the Sudanese armed forces have been going house to house, arresting local protest organisers in the capital Khartoum in a bid to stem the opposition to the military coup. Doctors say at least 2 people have been killed and around 80 others wounded after soldiers opened fire on the large crowds that took to the streets to oppose the takeover. Hussam al-Nasri was one of the many who demonstrated throughout the day.
I will be very much willing to give my life for this revolution and for this country. And these are the feelings of everyone who took the streets. And those are millions of people. People did not go to their work. They did not go to schools, universities. Everyone was on the streets. And this will continue. People will continue protesting. There will be civil disobedience until this coup and the leaders behind the coup are taken behind bars.
There's been worldwide condemnation of the coup in Sudan. The African Union has called for the immediate resumption of dialogue between the military and civilians. A BBC Africa analyst, Beverly Ochieng, explained how the coup could affect the wider region.
There are concerns that the turmoil in Sudan will lead to a widespread insecurity problem. We have seen there is turmoil in Ethiopia, which is the neighboring country. There's also a tussle over a border row between Kenya and Somalia. And so the region itself is not able to give as much attention to both their internal crisis as well as clamp down on the protests or even the coup takeover that has happened in Sudan today.
The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres demanded the release of the Prime Minister and other civilian officials. The United States says it was deeply alarmed. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has withdrawn a threat to expel 10 allied ambassadors after they pledged not to interfere in Turkey's internal affairs. Mike Sanders has the details.
President Erdogan appears to have averted a head-on collision with NATO allies, including the United States and Germany. On Saturday, he ordered the Foreign Ministry to declare the 10 ambassadors persona non grata. That usually entails expulsion within 48 hours and reciprocal action. A face-saving formula was needed. It came when the US affirmed its commitment to the Vienna Convention clause against meddling in the host nation's domestic affairs. But Mr. Erdogan stressed that anyone who didn't respect Turkey couldn't stay there. He said the ambassador's call for the release of the businessman Osman Kavala was an insult to Turkey's judiciary.
Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has announced that he's ended the state of emergency, which has been in force since April 2017. The measure has been extended at 3-month intervals for the past 4.5 years. Al-Sisi has been Egypt's president since 2014, a year after he led the military's overthrow of the Islamist president Mohamed Morsi. You're listening to World News from the BBC. An explosion on a bus in Uganda has killed 1 person and injured several others. It comes just 2 days after a deadly bombing at a bar in the capital, Kampala. The latest explosion was in the town of Lungala on the main road between Kampala and Masaka. The Islamic State group said it was behind Saturday's bar attack that killed an 18-year-old woman. The United States has announced new requirements for foreign nationals travelling to the United States by air. The rules, which are effective from the 8th of November, mean that most travellers to the US will have to prove they've been vaccinated and provide a negative test. Restrictions on travellers from China, India and much of Europe will also be lifted. A former Facebook manager turned whistleblower has told British members of Parliament that Facebook was unquestionably making online hate worse. Frances Haugen said the company's algorithms fuel episodes of violent conflict by spreading divisive content. She said that by prioritising and amplifying controversy, the algorithms push their target audience further to the extreme. Guatemala is celebrating the return of a carved stone fragment depicting the Mayan ruler of one of its ancient cities. The relic from the 8th century was looted from the site of the ruined city of Piedras Negras in the 1960s. Alex Ritson reports.
The ancient carved stone slab, which shows the city's ruler in a sumptuous headdress and the jade petticoat of the god of corn, was thought lost until it appeared at an auction in Paris 2 years ago. The United Nations cultural body, UNESCO, intervened on behalf of Guatemala, and with the help of the French authorities, the auction was halted. There then followed a long period of negotiation with a private collector, who ultimately opted to return it to Guatemala. It will soon go on display in Guatemala City.
Alex Ritson reporting. BBC News.